How are you? Shall we begin? Today we will be starting with the poem Childhood, okay, by Marcus Natten. Okay, now see, he was a Norwegian writer, and in this poem Childhood, he thinks and questions himself, and he puts a question to the readers also, that where does his childhood go? Okay, he's wondering and he's thinking that when did he lose his childhood, the innocence of his childhood time. Okay, and he goes on repeating this in the first stanza, second stanza, and the third stanza. And he says that he doesn't realize that when was the time exactly that he lost his childhood, whether it was the time when he turned 11 years old, or whether it was time when he realized that hell and heaven actually doesn't exist on any map, or was it the time when he started using his own mind and he was not affected by someone else's personality. Also, he further adds that was it the time when he realized that adults are double-faced people, they are hypocrites and they don't do what they say. So he throughout the poem he questions that when does he lose his childhood, and then finally he realizes that he feels that his childhood has gone to some distant land or some forgotten place, and he will never be able to relive his childhood, and which is a fact. Okay, this is the deep message. And then he finally tells the readers, the students, that the childhood is there, but we have to look in an infant's face. That is how he ends the poem. Okay, so now I will be reading it line by line. Please follow your book, page number 58. Okay, Hornbill. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was it that day? Now see, he begins the poem, the first stanza, with a question mark. Okay, he says that he doesn't know, he doesn't realize that when did he lost his childhood. Okay, and then he tells the answer, but he's puzzled. Okay, he's not very sure. He says that was it the day when he turned 11, or was it the time when he was past 11 years? Okay, is it that day that he lost his childhood? Or again he draws an analogy and says that was it the time when he realized that hell and heaven does not, he cannot find hell and heaven on the map. Okay, he cannot locate it on, he geographically he will not find hell and heaven. So was it that day? And then he says, see, he ends the first stanza with an exclamation mark, and then he wonders that was it that day? So he himself is not sure. Okay, clear the first stanza?
Yes.
Okay. Now see, in the second stanza, when did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but they did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? So again, you will find in the second stanza, again he questions, he is still in the puzzle, his mind is still in the state of puzzle, and he says that when did my childhood go? I don't know. And then again he tells another reason for it, but he's not very sure. He says that was it the time when I realized that grown-ups are double-faced people? They do not, they always preach of love, but when it actually comes, they don't follow, they don't love everybody. Okay, they have some kind of hatred in their heart. So was it that day? And he also says that when they ask everybody else to behave lovingly, but they don't act lovingly. So was it the time when I realized this fact that adults are hypocrites, they are double-faced people? So was it that day that I lost his childhood? Okay, and again he concludes the second stanza with an exclamation mark, because he's not sure, was that the day? So in the first stanza also we find him, he is wondering. In the second stanza also the poet is wondering, and this makes the students, us the readers, also wonder that is it true? Like we all are, you all are growing up, so you also have, you are still in the age of adolescence. Okay, so you might have not lost your childhood completely, but the childhood which the poet mentions is not there in students. Okay, so he is comparing that and he is puzzled. So he is that makes the students, the readers also, to think twice about their childhood. Okay, now see the third stanza. Again, in the third stanza, he begins it with a question mark. When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine to, to use whichever way I chose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own, mine alone? Was that the day? Again, in the third stanza, he is questioning and he's asking and saying that when did he lose his childhood, and then again he gives a reason for it, saying that was it the time when he realized that the mind which his mind is his own, it is not inspired by somebody else's thinking. So was it that day when he realized this fact that he can use his mind on his own? Was it that day when I lost his childhood? The poet is saying. The poet is saying that was it that day when I realized that I could use my mind, my brain the way I wanted to use? So was it that day? So, and he feels he is still in the state of puzzle, and he feels that he doesn't know the answer. So he's questioning that was it that day when I stopped when I came to know that my mind is my own and I will not be able to nobody else can inspire me. So again he concludes the stanza with an exclamation mark, saying that was it that day? So see, first, second, and third stanza all starts with a question mark and ends with an exclamation mark, where the poet is in the state of wonder and he is also puzzled. Okay, the fourth stanza and the final stanza is only of 4 lines. Okay, it is very small, but here again he says, where did my childhood go? And then here he finally he finds an answer. He says, it went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. And finally, he concludes that my childhood has gone. I have lost my childhood. All the sweet memories of my childhood has gone forever to some distant place, to some foreign place, to some forgotten place, which he cannot pinpoint. And here we find that there is a deep hidden message that we all, even if we crave for our childhood, we can never get it back, because this is the fact of life. Once we grow up, we are full of responsibilities, other things, and life moves on. But the carefree days of childhood can never be achieved. Okay, so this is what the poet finally realizes, and he concludes the poem by saying that if we want to find innocence, we can see that hidden in the face of an infant. Okay, a newborn child, because the newborn child's face and smile reminds him of his childhood and the innocence which he is seeking for. Okay, clear all the stanzas, all the 4 stanzas?
Yes, all clear.
Okay, any questions to ask?
No.